Good morning, this is Sean at Lucky Bamboo Tattoo. I am here with Jared, also of Lucky Bamboo Tattoo. How are you doing this morning?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Getting ready for a nice busy day, got a full schedule. Artists are geared up.
Busy's always good.
Yeah, we're pretty busy, pretty studio. I'm thinking a good subject today would be to talk about licensing for artists in the industry. So, is this a standard thing? Is everybody licensed everywhere?
I think I think that a lot of most people don't are unaware of this topic, and what is required and what isn't required, especially when they're selecting an artist. Because I think they, I mean, you see it. We get people. They don't compare apples to apples, right? They're like, some of them just price shop and they're bouncing around saying like, oh, they're just gonna go for the cheapest price. But where we're so underregulated and a huge like we don't have tattoo licensing in Utah. Zip, zero. There is no license. Anybody tells you they have a tattoo license, they're fucking lying, because they don't exist in Utah. In fact, most states they don't exist. There are a small handful of states have actual tattoo licensing. I've tried and tried here. It's just been refused. I basically have to lobby. I'd have to have a politician backing me, right, to get the DOPL, the Department of Occupational Professional Licensing, to consider a tattoo license, which is weird because everybody else has them, right? Like barbers,
Right.
the cosmetologists, like these hairdressers, like all these people have a license, and we don't, which is insane because we're dealing with blood, um, and things that require sterilization and cleanliness. But let's put quality aside and just focus on safety and cleanliness. And I mean, that's we should be licensed. That's crazy. So anyway, my point is, at this point in time, we have the most tattoo shops that we've ever had in U.S. history, right? In history, in the world, period. And most of them aren't good. Most of them are undertrained or not trained at all. They definitely don't have licensing because we don't have licensing, and most of them don't have the proper knowledge of cross contamination anyway. So it's really important to consider where you're going and what standards of cleanliness and what's the word I'm looking for, and protocol are being used in a shop, because your health and safety is very important, not just the execution of the tattoo.
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, anybody can just open up a tattoo studio and start tattooing.
Unfortunately, yes.
Unskilled, untrained. Uh, yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, you could do it. You could buy the shit off eBay tonight and open a shop tomorrow if you were ready to do that. Nothing's gonna stop you.
Yeah, I mean, not to give anybody ideas because that's a terrible idea if you're not a trained person. And I guess like if you don't have like an established business, if you tattoo like at home, that's isn't that a crime?
It's a Class B misdemeanor in Utah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't. Which is funny, right? Because we have all these lack of licensing and regulations, but there's that. There's
Right.
a Class B it's just so weird, and the regulations we do have, a lot of them don't make a lot of sense. Like, they're focused on the wrong things, just because they're ignorant, right? Like, we've had health department here many times. The director of health at the time, I don't know who it is now in Utah, but he was here. He asked me 3 times what an autoclave was, right? And this is
He didn't know what autoclave
he's
was.
over all. I mean, we're talking hospitals and everything. He doesn't know what the fucking autoclave is. So that's what we're dealing with, right? Like, you're just dealing with bureaucracy and people that don't know what the fuck they're even doing when they come in and look at a tattoo shop. They just have a list that they've gotten off the internet or from somebody. I don't know.
So do you think it'd be possible? 'Cause you mentioned you might need a backing of a politician if reputable artists like yourself and other people in our studio banded together in the country and lobbied as a team, so you didn't have all these, you know, scratcher shops popping up that have no business being in business. Do you think you guys could accomplish that yourself, or do you think you'd have to have a backing?
You'd have to have a backing because it requires lobbying. You're going to have political support. I have a friend that did it in New Mexico, and he spent quite a while doing it and had political backing. And you'd also have to have tattoo community support, right? Because they want to see that the general consensus is they want this change, or the tattoo studios anyway. And then he goes through all this trouble, and then after he's the chair of this board that was formed. Then the politicians started trying to deregulate tattooing. So now he's been, going through that of everything he spent time building and putting in place. Now they're trying to deregulate it. So
that's unfortunate. You'd hope that the artist community and the people that want tattoos would want that in place.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the politicians that are doing it. They're trying to deregulate, right? You have the different political agendas of, I don't know exactly why you would want to do that. It doesn't make sense to me. If you, like I said, if we're solely focused on health and safety, why would you want to deregulate? So that's the whole purpose, from my perspective, is health and safety. So
yeah, that's pretty important, especially when you're dealing with people's bodies. All right, well, that's great information. Thank you for joining me, and
you're welcome.
we'll see you on the next one.